Well, I'm nostalgic. I remember, so you don't have to. Now I'm just kidding. It's David Giant 2B here. Within our movie review, obviously, we're continuing on from Star Trek 3 to Star Trek 4. Also directed by Lenard Nemoy. This was one of my all-time favorites. It's probably tied with that con, if not, maybe not higher. But anyway, yeah. And Lenard Nemoy said he wanted to do two, and of course, Shatner wants to do a fifth one. And this is when Shatner was doing T.J. Hooker at the time. And but anyway, this was 1986. The year I was born. I was born in September. This came like in February, like a month after Challenger blew up. Challenger and Columbia blew up. The Challenger blew up, and that had school. That was because we were trying to get back into space, and Reagan was trying to push things. And people were being helpful, but this was kind of like of course, the space shuttle program discontinued anyways. I mean, now it's all private stuff, SpaceX and stuff these days anyways. So now we're kind of getting nostalgia mode, I guess. Like I said, I do anything and everything around here. I do like to have help with this, with these, instead of just, especially with the restaurant reviews and stuff. But anyway, yeah, so, this was kind of that time. And of course, this was and of course, the Cold War was kind of ending anyways. And, Cold War kind of in 89, but of course, so we'll get to 91. But anyway, and this is, you can do, I like to do locations. Movie locations, eventually. But anyway, I was saying, yeah, this is, you actually have stuff on, like here in 1986, classic San Francisco. But yeah, it's a shame that, how that is and whatnot. Anyway, so, it's kind of like picking up where things kind of went off, Search for Spock and whatnot. And of course, they have a tribute to, and I guess I can't just do scene for scene, but they have a tribute to, Challenger and stuff, because that was kind of a sad thing that happened, and we start out with that and whatnot. Credits. They do the old-fashioned credits and whatnot, and that was a tribute. And of course, music by Leonard Rossman this time. And yeah, obviously Shatner, Nimoy, directed by Nimoy. Harvey Bennett's producing it, of course. Roddenberry's he's failing, he's dying here. Roddenberry's dying off. They don't tribute to him. Of course, you have Kelly and Nichelle Nichols and James Doohan as Scotty and Walter Koenig and George Takei and whatnot. And of course, they had the credits and because the 80s they had the thing with the credits and stuff. It was kind of the 80s and early 90s thing with the credits, and but anyway, I said I can't use verbatim of everything, but yeah, it starts out with a probe from unknown origins. And it's looking for, humpback whale. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's looking for at the time, and it's looking for, and it's pretty much damaging everything in its path, basically. And the USS Saratoga is the first to approach it and stuff. And kind of, they don't get damaged right away, but they are sensing that it's damaging and it's kind of destroying them. And of course, them and other starships are relaying messages back to Earth, which is Federation headquarters. I guess they decided to make it Federation headquarters, which is interesting. But anyway, and of course, meanwhile, they have they're trying, like a pre-trial type thing. And of course, the Klingons had this all bootlegged anyways. Not bootlegged, but they kind of had all set this up anyways. In the fact that they were saying that Kirk was a spy and blah 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 and whatnot, and stuff, and they're saying, oh well, he's the bad guy and whatnot, and of course they, you already had violations of Owen for stealing the Enterprise. And Scotty malfunctioning Excelsior, so all the violations they had for stealing and violating, because Genesis was like a police line type situation and whatnot, and so 9 violations of Federation treaty, Federation law is broken and whatnot. Like I said, I can't show scene for scene. I love to, but I can't. This is a fun comedy. This is a very fun comedy. So anyway, like I said, like the probe is approaching, and of course, that's like a minor thing and stuff. I can't show scene for scene and whatnot. From what happened from Star Trek 3 for some reason, I don't know how they got the footage. Side things I want to mention is how did they get, they had some sort of footage of all that. How they had the footage of the Klingons listening to a time bomb, and how'd they get that footage, where that footage coming is, like, where they have Telosian they had some sort of footage, which is kind of makes no sense. How'd they get that footage? And of course he says, remember, this will there'll be no peace as long as Kirk lives. And and of course they're trying to plead. Obviously, the Klingons want peace this early on, because the Klingons are supposed to be like the Russians, basically. And of course, Saavik, is probably. But I'm just wondering how they got the footage. That's kind of the weird part. And you have the various aliens, and it's still, we're still in white privilege, kind of like that type of thing, I guess. This is still the '80s, so you still have. This is not, but it's what it serves its purpose. But anyway, so then we jump to Vulcan, and of course I guess they didn't want to send a ship. Obviously they're supposed to be punished for all this, and of course Spock has been taken out from Star Trek 3. Spock has been reborn, and of course he's testing himself. I guess his memory or whatever on it, or his intelligence or something. Who knows what that? He's testing himself, and he doesn't understand the question. Meanwhile, the crew, there's kind of, gives a few days, and they kind of transfer everything, make the Klingon bird of prey into like a starship type, compatible type thing. I guess put everything in English and kind of convert everything. I don't know, and of course they're unaware of this probe and whatnot. And of course, Spock's testing and stuff, and he doesn't know how to feel. It's funny they would ask a question because there's supposed to be no emotions in this.
What is the molecular formula of aluminium sulfide crystals? What queen to section 5, grid 6, queen takes knight, rook takes queen, white pawn to section 5, grid 7, pawn takes rook. Checkmate. What significant contribution to bioengineering is made to carrying outposts on Clent?
The universal atmospheric element calculus saver.
Evaluate pursuit. The starship sensors indicate it is being pursued so closely that it occupies the same space as its pursuer. Identify object and its cultural significance.
Klingon mummification blip.
What were the principal historical events on the planet Earth in the year 1987? What was Kirill Thaw's first law of metaphysics?
Nothing unreal exists.
Adjust the sine wave of this magnetic envelope so that anti-neutrons can pass through and the anti-gravitons cannot. What is the electronic configuration of galvanium? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I do not understand the question.
What is it?
I can't show scene for scene for scene, because if I did, I'd be violating copyright, and it's illegal to do that. I'm just trying to use these examples. But anyway, And of course, his mom, I think she's from original series. I think the mother, I think so. Amanda, I think that actress is the original. I think she might be the original character. Not sure. And of course, they have the not Christian guys that you could save Spock. And meanwhile, the probe is headed to Earth. Has gone to Earth, and it's pretty much. It's not just trying to communicate to the oceans, and of course they don't know, because no one knows what the heck it's communicating and stuff. They're using a lot of lightweight profanity and whatnot, and but yeah, it pretty much is just vaporizing the ocean, making everything rain, and kind of like destroying all technology. And for the 80s, it's pretty advanced technology for the time, pretty state of the art. But anyway, it obviously destroys the Saratoga, and of course, you get the message, that this probe is meaning business, and it's searching for something and wants them, and it's trying to, and it's not liking what it says, so it's just pretty much destroying, or neutralizing everything in its path. The Saratoga gets cut out. Everybody's saying help, 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 and of course it gets to Earth, and it just, and then of course the bridge crew of the Enterprise is unaware of they're unaware that they're going to head back anyway. But yeah, this thing is a destructive force. This probe thing. They don't know what the message is. They don't know what it's saying. They don't know how to respond to it. I think it's meant for man. Of course, we don't know about that yet. And of course, then this begins the not just the fun, but a lot of comedy. And this is Nemoy's directing. Really good directing. Really good comedy. Everything's kind of mixed in there and whatnot. And I'm just going really quickly with it and whatnot. And but yeah, they really don't know what to make of it. I don't know why I put solar panels on the Golden Gate Bridge. I think it's supposed to be Marin Starfleet category. That's kind of the weird part. But anyway, so yeah, this probe is pretty much a destructive force, and they have to figure out what to do about it. They know what to do, and of course the bridge, and whatnot.
High hopes that this will, if successful, generate power to keep us alive.
Systems report. Communications.
Communication systems all ready, sir. Communications officer as ready as she'll ever be.
He makes a joke, we're the Klingon vessel, why can't do that? And of course, Scotty ate all the Klingon food, made himself sick, I guess. But yeah, they're going unaware while Earth is being, now the probe has reached Earth and they're on attack and stuff. And McCoy's like, well, he doesn't work on all the thrusters, he's not all there. And of course he tries approaching, well, what's the life? And it's like, they're kind of a bit confused and whatnot. And like I said, I can't show scene for scene. Obviously the probe is just, like I said, probe is destroying. And yeah. They're not sure if Spock's up all there because he's pretty much reborn, so to speak. And like I said, the probe. So, but yeah, and of course, then the president of the Federation sends a message, and they use some footage of the original. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why. But anyway, they send a message saying, "Do not approach Earth." Everything's vaporizing our oceans and whatnot. And of course, they have stock footage showing itself, I guess. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, do not approach Earth. And of course, Kirk's like, well, we got no choice to destroy anything to destroy the probe would be futile. And, they kind of figure out, the message is meant for someone else and whatnot.
Save yourselves. Avoid the planet Earth at all costs. Farewell.
let us hear the probe's transmission.
Yes, sir. On speakers.
Spock, what do you make of that?
Most unusual. An unknown form of energy of great power and intelligence. Evidently unaware that its transmissions are destructive. I find it illogical that its intentions should be hostile.
Really? You think this is its way of...
Like I said, I can't just shoot scene for scene. If I could, you know, nothing. Anyway, yeah, they modify the sound. They hear the noise, and it's humpback whales. And of course, Spock tests through it that this can't be responded by normal, you know. And of course, yeah, humpback whales. You know, they're virtually, you know, they're an endangered species today. You know, because this was the '80s. You know, save the whales and whatnot. And he matches the sound, saying, you know, I don't think. You know, it's possible to do that. You know, we have to go and Spock said, oh, well, unless we find humpback whales to, you know, respond to this probe, and the only way to do that is to time travel. And of course, McCoy's like, well, wait a damn minute. You know, it's like, this isn't a good idea, and it's kind of like, no, you know, well, might as well do it. And of course, he goes to Scotty and asks him how big the bay is, and of course, then he messages the Federation, and meanwhile, like, you know, Earth is just in total under attack. You know, they're pretty much, you know, everything's chaos there, and you know, Earth is under red alert. But yeah, and of course they you know, swing slot, you know, which has been done before with the Enterprise apparently, you know. But anyway, and they go time travel and whatnot, and you know, because and you know, Kirk sends his message and whatnot that we're going to attempt something. You know, humpback whales is the answer, and that's what we're going to do. And then of course they time travel, and they have a time travel sequence and stuff.
Then, Mr. Scott, we gotta find some humpbacks.
Humpbacked people? Whales, Mr. Scott. Whales. About 45 to 50 feet long. About 40 tons.
You really gonna try time travel with this cross country?
We've done it before.
Sure, slingshot around the sun. Pick up enough speed, you're in time warp. If you don't, you're frying.
Nothing?
I prefer a dose of common sense. You're proposing that we go backwards and find humpback whales, then bring them forward in time, drop them off, and hope to hell they tell this probe what to go do with this stuff.
That's your idea.
Well, that's crazy.
You get a better idea? Now's the time. Your computations?
In progress, sir.
Move around. Get me through the Starfleet command.
Right over. Picking up a faint transmission. Right over. I think it's Admiral Kirk calling.
On screen.
Yeah, they attempt time travel, and they do, you know, they have the time travel sequence, and like I said, I can't show scene for scene for scene, and of course they travel to 1986 San Francisco. You know, they say, oh, I'm getting bearing, and of course that's obviously Monterey, but apparently the Sea Aquarium is in Marin, but they don't know that, and of course the rest, you know, now we're in the, you know, not just 1986, which is supposed to be present day San Francisco, but they you know, this begins, you know, all the comedy and ad lib of the movie and whatnot, and yeah, and of course, you know, they land, you know, because they cloak the bird of prey, you know, bird of prey and whatnot. It's amazing how everything's in English and not in Klingon, and everything's just pretty much modified. That's the interesting thing. Everything's been pretty much modified to like an Enterprise, you know, like a starship, you know. That's the weird part. That's interesting, but whatever. But yeah, so they, you know, they land 1986 going here. One of these will do locations and whatnot. Additional problem, they have a problem to Klingon, the crystals, they've been drained, so they have to send a team to they have to send a team to you know, renuclearize the crystals, because they've been drained when they did the time travel.
for a damn toaster oven. You're out of your mind.
What'd she say to that?
I said I can't do scene for scene, but you know, obviously that scares those. And it's funny, there's no recycling. You know, I think recycling is starting to become a thing, but I'm surprised there's no recycling stuff. And of course, you know, it looks like these garbage guys are scared out of their mind and whatnot. But I think the funny part, you know, it's like, oh, I better remember where we parked and stuff. And of course, you know, now it's like the beginning of the comedy and stuff. And you know, this was totally. I don't know how they get from Golden Gate Park. You know, this is 5 miles away to you know, Columbus Street, you know, Columbus and Kearny and whatnot. And of course, that was ad-lib. That taxi cab driver. That's a fact. The taxi cab driver was not. I repeat, was not a. You know, that double that was totally ad-libbed. He did not know. He pretty much crashed to the scene. But yeah, it's the famous Columbus and Kearny scene, Winchell's Donuts, which is now Yum Yum Donuts.
It's a miracle these people ever got out of the 20th century.
They're still using money. We gotta find something. Spot, the rest of you stay here. The rest of you break up. It looks like a cadet review.
That's the comedy that they had, and now you know, I just, and of course then he parts with the glasses that Dr. McCoy gives him, and you know, apparently there's 19th century glasses, I guess, and of course, you know, because they need money, they can't find any, and what, and you know, it's just you know, fun comedy and whatnot, and you know, and of course they had to break into their teams and whatnot, so yeah. It's kind of funny on that, but yeah.
Yes, 18th century American. Quite valuable. Are you sure you want to part with it?
How much will you give me for it?
Excuse me. What if there was a birthday present from Dr. McCoy?
And there will be again. That's the beauty of it.
How much?
Well, they'd be worth more if the lenses were intact.
I'll give you $100.
Is that a lot? Well, that's all there is. So don't splurge. All set? Good enough. Well, Spot, here we are. Thanks to your restored memory, a little bit of good luck, we're walking the streets of San Francisco looking for a couple of humpback whales. How do you propose to solve this minor problem?
Simple logic will suffice. I believe I shall begin by making use of this map. I have the distance and bearing which were provided by Commander Uhura. If we juxtapose our coordinates, we should be able to find our destination, which lies at 283.7
I think we'll
degrees.
find what we're looking for at the Station Institute in Sausalito. A pair of humpback whales named George and Gracie.
How do you know this?
Simple logic.
If I cut off the what does it mean exact change bit, but it's kind of like you know, there's a bunch of ad-libs, you know, because they know exact change was, and we don't know if we gave him finger, or if we gave him mind meld, or we don't know exactly what he did there, and that was hilarious. And of course, you know, then we come up to the scene with the punk, and of course that's revisited again 2 years ago or a year ago with the 2 years ago with the Picard thing, and the same punk in the LA bus with the same song, and he's afraid, but this is the initiation of that. And I'm sorry about the pings, yeah. This cop is ad-lib too. This is funny. This cop is actually a real cop too, folks. This cop is ad-libbed.
Can you direct me to the naval base in Alameda? It's where they keep the nuclear We are looking for nuclear vessels. Can you tell me where the naval base is in Alameda? We're looking for Hello, we are looking for the nuclear weapons in Alameda. Could you tell me where?
Can you help us?
Please, we're looking for the naval base in Alameda. Could you tell me where the nuclear vessels are?
Ooh, I don't know if I know the answer to that. I think it's across the bay, in Alameda.
That's what I said, Alameda. I know
But
that.
where is Alameda?
Same punk, folks. Same song. Of course, 38 years later, or I should say, 36 years later on Star Trek Picard, the exact same scene. Of course, 7 or 9 didn't do anything, but the exact same situation happened, and of course, he feels this back, and he says, "I just like that song. Same punk, same song." But yeah, of course, we all get love music, and of course now Kirk is explaining to Spock what colorful, swearing, profanity, and all, because the culture is not, people aren't civilized, and they, and whatnot, and so they go to Marin, and there's it's actually a Monterey Bay Aquarium, but they have a aquarium. The film location's in Monterey. The filming locations in Monterey and whatnot, and Dr. Julian Taker, she's like the main girlfriend or girl, the guest. If this were an episode of Star Trek, she'd be the main guest and whatnot. And yeah, and of course they show that's like early CGI. Plus they have actual. I've been on the Paramount lot. I can't, like I said, I cannot show you everything. But they directed in Paramount lot, and a lot of, like I said, with a lot of people that weren't actors, they weren't actors or anything, and but yeah, and of course Spock dives into the tank and mind melds with the whales. And George and Gracie is obviously from the TV show. That's what they're named after, that 1930s radio show, George and Gracie, which became a TV show in the early 50s with George Allen, George Burns and Gracie Allen, who were married, by the way. That's a trivia factoid. But anyway, because whale hunting, and I think it's probably still, but everything's endangered. But it's not as bad as it was today. But whale hunting still exists and stuff. And meanwhile, Chekhov and Uhura are looking for nuclear radiation to, collect and whatnot, to fuse. And meanwhile, Sulu and Dr. McCoy and Sulu, Dr. McCoy, and Scotty are at a plexiglass factory, probably in South. I don't know how they got to South San Francisco. To invent transparent aluminum to make a whale tank and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, they kicked out, and because Gracie's pregnant and stuff, and of course Jillian has a soft spot and whatnot, and whatnot like that. Like I said, I can't do scene for scene, but you get the idea that Kirk and Spock get kicked out. And again, this is Monterey Aquarium. This is not, like I said, I can't do scene, and but yeah, and of course Kirk's like, when did they get out? It was a radio frequency, when those whales were, he needs to collect them because they're the only 2 whales that have a link to them and whatnot, and yeah, and of course Julian Taylor invites them to dinner. Of course Spock says no and whatnot, and we know stuff you don't know, but she decides to take a thing to invite them to dinner and whatnot. And then of course they find and Uhura and Chekhov find nuclear stuff, and of course it happens to be the Enterprise in Alameda, which was stationed in Alameda at the time. But whatnot. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulty.
What you said on the tour, that if things keep going the way they are, the humpbacks will disappear forever.
No, that's not what he said, farm boy. Admiral, if we were to assume those whales are ours to do with as we pleased, we would be as guilty as those who caused, past tense, their extinction. I have a photographic memory. I see words.
Are you sure it isn't time for a colorful metaphor?
You're not one of those guys from the military, are you? Trying to teach whales to retrieve torpedoes or some dipshit stuff like that?
No, ma'am, no dipshit.
Well, good. That's one thing I would have let you off right here.
Gracie is pregnant.
You know, he takes her to dinner and stuff. Yeah, and obviously the communicator beeps and whatnot. And he's allergic to beer, I guess. Or he has a weird reaction to beer, I guess. And it's amazing, you know, all this location on everything. That's the one thing that's kind of interesting on the location. Like I said, I can't do scene for scene. And of course, you know, Scotty invents transport. Meanwhile, Sulu steals a helicopter to help. You know, and of course, you know, they have the old Apple II computers and stuff, and then they invent transport and aluminum and whatnot.
Well, this is a fine place you have here, Doctor.
Thank you. And I must say, Professor, your knowledge of engineering is most impressive.
Yes, back home we call him the miracle worker.
Indeed. May I offer you something, gentlemen?
Dr. Nichols, I might be able to offer something to you.
Yeah?
I noticed you're still working with polymers.
Still? What else would I be working with?
Aye, what else indeed? I'll put it another way. How thick would a piece of your plexiglass need to be at 60 feet by 10 feet to withstand the pressure of 18,000 cubic feet of water?
Oh, it's easy. 6 inches. We carry stuff that big in stock.
I noticed. And suppose, just suppose, I were to show you a way to manufacture a wall that would do the same job, but be only 1 inch thick. Would that be worth something to you? Eh?
You're joking.
Perhaps the professor could use your computer.
Please.
Computer? Computer? Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
Keyboard. Oh, great.
Transparent aluminum?
Guy the formula for transparent aluminum, and of course Dr. McCoy reminds him, didn't you do something from the future around here? And how do you know he didn't invent the thing? Because apparently they looked it up, they thought he invented transparent aluminum in the future. Apparently he does, but they gave it to him, one of those paradoxes and stuff. And yeah, and of course they get transparent aluminum transferred. And this is the beauty of the comedy of this and whatnot. And like I said, Sulu, I guess, steals that helicopter. I think he knocks the guy. They don't show everything. And of course, then they jump to the pizza. They go back to Columbus Street to an Italian restaurant to have pizza and whatnot, and have Michelob beer, real Michelob. Diet beer was kind of brand new back then. Oh, by the way, I quit thing is kind of a thing because I just say no thing was kind of the thing with that back then. And yeah, Kirk kind of has tells him the truth that he's from the future, and he's to bring 2 humpback whales back to the future and whatnot, and yeah, and she believes, because oh yeah, Gracie's very pregnant, and that's top secret. No one knows that, and yeah, of course. And how do you know where you take them, and they'll be released tomorrow and whatnot. And meanwhile, her and Chekhov have to steal radiation and stuff. Of course, this is the Cold War still, and of course she gets captured and whatnot. But yeah, Kirk is allergic to beer and stuff, and they don't have money in the future and stuff. But yeah, they kind of they have to leave tomorrow, noon tomorrow. They have to leave and whatnot.
That, as they say, is that. Jim. What is that?
What's what?
You have a pocket pager. Are you a doctor?
What is it? I thought you'd never call me.
Sorry, Admiral. We get what you'd like to know. Let's leave in a bit now.
All right. Tell them phases on stun. Good luck, Kirk.
He's from Iowa, he only works in outer space, he tells him So anyway, so yeah, her and Chekhov have to steal the radiation, and they detect it, and it's not exactly, it's a weird, of course, and no one knows how the other two got back, or three got back, but yeah, and of course, Chekhov does get captured, and they think he's a Russian spy, because they had to drain on the radiation, to recrystallize, the nuclear radiation to recrystallize the crystals and whatnot, and of course he runs away, and they have a chase scene and whatnot, and of course every character has their own humorous moment and whatnot, and here's Chekhov's famous moment.
Anything you want to tell us? Like what? Like who you really are and what you're doing here and what these things here are. I am Pavel Chekhov, commander in Starfleet, United Federation of Planets. Service number 656-58270. All right. Let's take it from the top. The top of what? Name. My name? No, my name. I do not know your name. You play games with me, mister, and you're through. I am. May I go now?
Yeah. Chekhov is now at a mission, Mercy Hospital, which is a hospital in the mission, apparently. I don't know if it's still there, or I don't know. We'll have to do locations of these things eventually one of these days. But anyway, so yeah, and of course, the whales get released last night, and because they didn't want a media circus or anything. They didn't want to have like a news conference or something about and now the whales are in danger of being hunted. They had to rush things, but they had to get Chekhov out of the hospital and stuff. And now it's Dr. McCoy's time to shine and whatnot. And of course, they have Chekhov under a heavy guard and stuff. They're gonna try to do a neuroscopic thing to pick his brain, I guess. I don't know. Kind of weird. Of course, his brain has to be artery has to be repaired and whatnot. But yeah, and of course, Julian gets herself beamed up and captured and whatnot. And yeah.
Spanish Inquisition.
Damn it, do you want an acute case on your hands? This woman has immediate postprandial upper abdominal distension. Now out of the way, get out of the way. What did you say she's got? Cramps. Who are you? Why aren't you masked? Who are these people?
I don't know.
What the hell is that? What are you doing? Tearing of the middle meningeal artery. What's your degree in? Dentistry?
How do you explain slow impulse, low respiratory rate, and coma?
Fundoscopic examination.
Endoscopic examination is unrevealing in these cases.
A simple evacuation of the expanding epidural hematoma will relieve the pressure.
My God, man. Drilling holes in his head's not the answer. The artery must be repaired. Now put away your butcher knives and let me save this patient before it's too late.
I'm gonna have you removed.
Doctor, such unprofessional behavior. Into that other room, please.
What is that? You have time? Nurses? Please, let's leave this.
No idea.
You got the lock.
Dealing with medievalism here. Therapy. Endoscopic examinations. Come on, Jacob, wake up. Mama, can you hear me? He's coming around, Jim. Talk to me. Name, rank.
Chekhov. Pavel. Rank.
And of course, they have to do the running chase scene. Of course, they have the good music with that. And then, like I said, I can't do everything, but I could do most of it. And they beam out. And of course, the next stop is the 23rd century and whatnot. And of course, yeah. One thing I'm wondering how McCoy had his medical stuff, because he never really brought it with him from Star Trek 3, so that's a mystery there. Where did his medical supplies come from? Just a thought on that. Where it is, and of course he gave someone a new kidney. I forgot to mention that. That was a side joke. 23rd century technology and whatnot. And of course, the next stop is the Bering Sea, and they have to stop and they decloak and scare these whalers and stuff. It's amazing how whalers are exactly at that moment. That's kind of interesting. The whalers are exactly there to whale it's like the last two in 1986. They said in the late 21st century, so I'm kind of early 21st. That's kind of weird with that one. And of course, Spock has a reprogramming from memory, and the time travel and whatnot. And and of course they have to go back, to do the same sequence, but they don't do the dream thing or whatever, that dream thing, which I didn't show, but that was kind of weird. After they beam them up, but that was kind of weird. And of course, now we're going back to the same time thing, and now Spock's announcing the thing instead of Slew for some reason. Kind of weird with that. Excuse me, Scotty yells it. I forgot Scotty's the one that yells it, but he's yelling the sequence and stuff.
Some miracle you do get them through. Who in the 23rd century knows anything about humpback whale?
Good point.
Scared.
Admiral, I think you better get up there. We're having a power fall off.
Just stay with me. On my way.
Hold on tight, lassie. Get bumpy from here.
7.5. 7.9.
Shield set maximum.
Like I said, of course, they make it, and of course it goes exactly where Kirk blacks out back at Starfleet headquarters. I guess that's supposed to be Marin or whatever. I wonder why the Golden Gate Bridge has solar panel. That makes no sense. But they go and they crash into San Francisco Bay and whatnot. I didn't show scene for scene. I didn't show but and of course the whales sing their song, and that saves the day. And all of a sudden the probe here's their message, and they go away. Whatever it told them to do to go away and whatnot. And of course they have a thing where they have a celebration type thing with that. I guess the way it's communicated back, a few things. I wonder how the people at Starfleet knew about that. Of course, I love time travel movies and stuff, but so the probe goes away, and Kirk and crew save the day and whatnot. And sorry if I rhyme there, but everything, and of course they have the trial of Captain Kirk and the bridge crew, and Spock, who wasn't really, of course he was, they don't understand that part. That Spock, he was there, but he wasn't there, type of situation, from the previous movie, and they were kind of, they say, oh well, you'll be reduced in rank to captain and stuff, and and we have the final scenes there, of everybody splitting up and saying goodbye and whatnot.
USS Excelsior. Willful destruction of Federation property. Specifically, the aforementioned USS Enterprise. And finally, disobeying direct orders of the Starfleet commander. Admiral Kirk, how do you plead?
On behalf of all of us, Mr. President, I'm authorized to plead guilty.
So ended. Because of certain mitigating circumstances, all charges but one are summarily dismissed. The remaining charge, disobeying orders of a superior officer, is directed solely at Admiral Kirk. I'm sure the Admiral will recognize the necessity of keeping discipline in any chain of command.
I do, sir.
James T. Kirk, it is the judgment of this council that you be reduced in rank to captain. And that as a consequence of your...
The deleted scene where, and of course, Julian Taylor says goodbye, Scienceville. You never hear from her again. There's a deleted scene where Nurse Chapel, or was it Nurse Chapel? It was either her or Yeoman Ren, one of those two. I think it was Nurse. It's Chapel. She kind of did a defense thing that they didn't show. That was totally deleted and dropped out, scratched out of the script or something. But yeah, everybody says their goodbyes, and then Spock tells Sarek, directed by Mark Lenard, tell Amanda, his mother, I feel fine, and whatnot, and sorry, I was having a few thoughts there. And something that were crossing my head. But anyway, so yeah, and of course they go to that starship and whatnot.
Why in God's name would you want that bucket of balls?
The ship is a ship.
Whatever you say, sir, that will be done.
My friends, we've come home.
Help ready, Captain.
All right, Mr. Sulu. Let's see what she's got.
That was Star Trek 4, and the next one, will be directed by Shatner, Final Frontier. They get the Enterprise back. I'm sorry, I'm having some cross thoughts in my head around here. But anyway, a very well done movie. I don't know why Shatner was holding his leg there. I don't know why that was cut. well done movie, and yeah, you know, but yeah, very good. I love time travel. I love time travel, and I really need help with these type of things. But I love time travel, and yeah, I'm really hoping to get the ball rolling with that. But yeah, you know, the evens are obviously better than the odds, and of course we'll do other movies besides Star Trek. I just want to finish up the 10, I guess. Maybe I'll do, because we might do the bad 3 ones, but you know, we'll see what happens around here. Yeah, because those are kind of semi-connected to the original, I guess. But yeah, things are kind of connected, you know, and I'm not gonna, you know, when we get into Next Generation stuff. But anyway, so yeah, that's Star Trek 4. Well done movie, good comedy. And yeah, I hope to see you out there. This is Johnny 2B, David signing off.